It's a super bloom. It's a super super bloom. It's a super bloom. It's a super super bloom. It's a super what? It's a super super bloom. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Super bloom is a rare phenomenon in the California desert when hundreds of thousands of colorful wildflowers pop up after more than a decade of dormancy. The magic of this vibrant blooming is mostly strong winds and lots of rain. Like those hardy seeds riding the wind and patiently awaiting the rain, once we reconnect with the elements that truly nurture us, we rekindle our resilience, our confidence, and our strength. I'm your host, Osha Rose, and in this pod, we explore all things related to the power of the mind and to this physical human existence. We can realize our full potential once we wake up the wisdom in our bones and activate our innate ability to thrive. Let's wake up with joy and be the Shakti in our lives.
When we moved to Hawaii, I was like, I know there's something blooming inside of me, as in like, I want to do something different with my life. Like, yes, I love being a mom. I love being a wife, but I also want to be Mare, just Mare who creates and does things. But what is it? At the time, I didn't know yet. I didn't know yet. And so finally, I discovered Laura Rose's workshop, and that was definitely very transformational for me because she helped me understand how much I need to use my voice. All them repressed, no, I don't like that. No, don't do that. All of that. But at the same time, also use my voice for creations like songs or even, talking here now, sharing my story, like all those things, right? And so it's been kind of like, right now it feels like a compound effect is starting to really take place. And it's super exciting and at times also scary because I'm like, why everything is moving so fast? I have 2 kids at home, right? Because I became mom 6 months ago now again. And it's a lot, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like this is to me everything. But now with this relaunch and what this episode is part of, it's this reminder that it really is okay to just let life unfold and to just do what feels right in the moment. But somebody like Laura Rose really woke up in me my voice as well. Like she just created this space for me to finally find my art, my voice, my sound. Yay! Welcome back to Super Bloom, where we explore what it means to live a life on purpose and bring to the surface what already lies within us. So today, I am so excited to be joined by the artist and YouTube creator, Mara Anatolevna. Mara and I first connected in a vocal embodiment training online, and I was deeply moved by her openness and her creative spirit. And on her channel, Mare's music diary and her life in motion, she shares her journey of healing the fear of being seen, reclaiming her voice, and expressing herself through music and authenticity. So this is Super Bloom. Welcome. Welcome, Mare. Yay.
Hi, Ocheros. I'm going to start by saying thank you so much for having me here. It's my
Yes.
first ever podcast, and I'm very excited to share my story and hopefully inspire someone else with it.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Well, tell me first about your name. Like, where does your name come from?
So my first name, Mare, it's my actual name that was given to me by my parents. It's actually 2 names, Mara Anatolevna, but I've been mostly going by just the first part of it, Mare.
Okay.
And then Anatolevna is actually a name that comes from my dad. His name was Anatoly. It's a Russian name, my Russian roots. And at one point, when things were starting to come together for me a little bit better, like, where is it that I'm going? I was thinking about, like, what is the name I want to go by? And I was like, you know what? I want to take my dad's name and I want to consciously almost like change the tune around it because when I think about my history and how the relationship was and how I remember him, then it's mostly negative. And so
Mm,
this is me like rewriting it and taking him on a journey with me and just, I guess, making it more positive in that sense and really like grounding for myself that, hey, even though I have this history, I'm able to rewrite it and have him with me. So in Russian culture, it's very common to use your dad's name, kind of like not really as a last name, but like something that, you know, the way I do. So it's Mara
yeah,
Anatolevna, yeah.
beautiful. So I'm just so excited to have you here. Were you living in Canada when we met? I think was it the Voice of Creatrix 2022?
I think it was in Hawaii. It was before we moved to Canada.
Yeah. So you were, which island were you on?
Oahu.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it
Wonderful.
there. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that must have been the weather, like to shift from that to Canada.
Yes, I love Canada and I love Canada's, especially here in BC. Nature is just amazing. But when it comes to weather, of course, I would go back to Hawaii in a heartbeat. Just having the scenery, having the sunshine most of the time of the year. I'm like, hey, I'm a sun person, like I need it.
Mm,
And when we
mm.
moved to Canada, the first 2 weeks, I was like, I guess I'm gonna go and get me some vitamin D because I could feel the shift. Yeah.
I've been to Oahu once and it was just amazing to just ride around that whole island and see the surfers at the pipeline and eat a fresh pineapple, eat the shrimp that they grow, like the farms of like the
Yeah.
shrimp on the
Yeah.
sides of the road.
Yeah.
So wonderful. So as far as just travel and like what's brought you to Canada, you were born in Estonia.
Estonia. Yeah. So
Ah,
my life is pretty interesting. Yeah. So I was born in Estonia to a big family, more on the poor side. So like the way I grew up was very, limiting beliefs and like very like you can't really do this or you can't do that, like and when you look into the history of Estonia and then, I was born in 91 and that's when we regained the independency from USSR as it collapsed, right? So there's like a lot of history of like when it comes to using your voice and your opinion, you can only get so far with it when you're under this regime, right? And so I know that it's not just like, oh, my parents were this way. Like there's way more to it than just like, let me go and start blaming someone, even though I used to do that for sure when you first set out on this journey of self-discovery. But in 2014, the summer of 2014, I decided to move because I fell in love, right? So I met my husband. He was stationed in Estonia, and then I always knew I was going to marry either Estonian or Russian because that's the two languages I know. But the way life works, it's mysterious sometimes. And in 2014, I was like, okay, now is the time. And he's a US Marine. So we rotate every few years. So we move every few years. And all the travel and everything has definitely helped me expand my consciousness and expand myself in ways of like, hey, these people live this way. And you know how they say America is like a dreamland and there's American dream? And maybe now it's different for Americans themselves, because that's what I've heard. But for me, when I think about how I grew up and kind of living in a bubble of like very limiting like beliefs about life altogether, and now me
mm,
being able to see the world and me being able to access so much information, then to me, American Dream is a very like, I guess, beautiful dream. Like I can feel
mm.
it happening for myself. And
Yeah.
so I'm like very excited about that. And yeah, it started out, I lived in Arkansas for the first 3 years. From there, we moved to Japan for 4 years. From Japan, we moved to Hawaii for 2.5 years. And now we've been here for a year and a half so far. And
Wow.
so what comes after Canada, that depends where my husband's orders take us. But
Mm,
it's going to be exciting no matter what, because I do love to travel. And
mm,
as I said, everything that I've gained throughout all these years, it's been 11 years now that I've moved from Estonia. I do feel like what's happening up here inside of me is such a big shift from what I used to be and how I used to see the world. Like
mm,
like totally like different, night and day different.
Oh, I love this. I'm thinking about you've traveled all of this time and it's for your husband's work. I'm thinking about you and what keeps you busy. And I
Okay,
don't know if the
yeah.
audience knows yet, but there were children born through these
Oh,
travels.
yes,
Am I
yes.
right?
So what's interesting is that when I first moved, like I didn't know myself that well, even though I already had started, I had discovered Louise L. Hay and her affirmations. And for the first time in my life, I was like, wow, I could love myself. That's a pretty cool thing, right? But I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I wanted. Because even when I looked throughout the school years, it was like, oh, so what do you want to do when you're big, big person, right? And I'm like, oh, I'll be this and I'll be that. Like I was like kind of chameleon changing, but it was also because I was extreme people pleaser. In many situations, I wouldn't say what I wanted to say. I wouldn't do what I wanted to do because I didn't want to upset people around me. Like their emotion of rejection or their emotion of I'm not happy with you terrified me. Like terrified me. I was like, okay, I'll do whatever, like that's how scary it was. And so when I moved, honestly, for the first few years, I think I was just trying to understand who it is that I am. And not very consciously. It was like I wasn't even planning anything big for myself. It's kind of like I had moved, I'm starting something new, and I'm just seeing what's unfolding. Like I'm gonna live my life. And like when we lived in Arkansas, I worked at a hotel as a housekeeper for a little bit. Then I didn't like it. And then I worked on a farm where what was it? So pretty much like a fiberglass, and then you use resin and you make these little hunting houses or like
Oh, wow.
hunting stands. Yeah, that was totally like, but it was a really cool experience. And the people I met, I loved it. Like really warm people. When it was time for us to leave, they were like, "Hey, let's have a, goodbye party for you." Like that was super awesome. But altogether, I didn't know myself. Like, I didn't know that I was gonna unlock my voice at one point and I was gonna start writing songs and I was gonna start my YouTube channel. Like, I had no idea that was gonna happen. So from Arkansas, we moved to Japan, and I remember I came home back to Estonia. I think it was like 2018 for a few months, or a month or something, to visit. And me and my sister, we went to a little trip to Hungary together before I go back to Japan. And that was to me like, hey, I want to go to university. Like we connected on a deeper level, and she she started being a friend to me that was so accepting of me and my mistakes that started something, that had this um effect that now I see it like really blooming that I didn't know was gonna happen. So I was like, I'm gonna come back to Japan. I'm gonna look online colleges and everything, right? Totally like I'm ready. And I was thinking about psychology or something like that because I was like so interested in like why am I doing things the way I am? Am I really just born wrong? And it's just like inside of me, all this like the programs that I'm doing things wrong. Or is it something else, right? Like I've always was fascinated with it. Once I discovered Louis L. Hay, and I was like, something must be, there's must be something else. And so when I got back from the trip, I told my husband that, hey, I'm gonna do the college, and I already started looking up, and I was about to go like on the base. I was gonna go to like education center and talk to people about it. And next thing you know, I'm pregnant. And that was so interesting because I was like, college didn't matter at all anymore. I was ready to, I always knew I was going to be a mom. So I was ready to just be like, come on, I'm ready for you. I want you and I want to hold you and I want to take care of you. And so when our first son was born 6 years ago now, I loved it. Like, even though I had problems with breastfeeding because I experienced something DMER. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's called dysphoric milk ejection reflex. And pretty much before milk comes in, you know how hormones work all the time to make the milk and everything. So when I read about it back in 2019, the theory behind it was that dopamine falls too much, and what you would feel when the milk comes in, like extremely depressive mood, even though it's for a short amount of time, because it happens, milk comes in, it goes away. But you experience it like 20 times a day, each time the milk comes in. And I was like, what is this thing? So it helped me a lot when I like discovered it for myself. But it was still hard at first, but then I pushed through and I was like, breastfeeding is important to me and I'm gonna keep doing it.
Mm,
But with becoming mom and just going through the motherhood, I just knew that this is gonna be, I guess, like a next step, understanding who it is that I am and what's going on. Because before, I started doing Laura Rose's Voice of Creatrix and other workshops she offers, I started singing songs to my son, which I had never done
mm,
before. I remember wanting to write a song when I first picked up guitar when I was like 16 or something, and I approached to it like a math formula. I was literally like logically trying to think my way through it, and I
mm,
couldn't. And here I didn't even have to think about it. I just pick up my son and I start singing to him. And now,
mm,
and now when I'm looking back, I can, reflect it and I'm like, oh, I see what was happening, right? Because with the kids, we're so much more free. We don't have
mm.
to pretend that this is me or this is not me or what it is. And, like
Yeah.
we just mirror back to them that, oh, are we doing this? Okay, we're doing this. And so becoming mom to me was definitely a very big shift in consciousness where I was like, my kid is teaching me so much right now about life and reminding me how baby steps is like sometimes all it is that you need to get to somewhere. Because when they start crawling and when they start walking, how many times do they fall, right? They keep, they get up and they keep going. And now I try and apply this to my like guitar practice or whatever new I'm starting, right? When I first
Mm,
started editing my YouTube videos, I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. But then it's like baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, right? And so after Japan, we moved to Hawaii, and that's when I discovered Laura Rose, right? Because
mm,
I was like in the background, I've been working on myself for at least a few years now. I'll see like, oh, there's something about how our minds work. Let me do this. Or I've purchased Jody Spenza's, work to try and help
mm,
me understand myself better or, read the books. Like I've done many things now. And so now I see how one thing really leads to another. So when we moved to Hawaii, I was like, I know there's something blooming inside of me, as in, like, I want to do something different with my life. Like, yes, I love being a mom, I love being a wife, but I also want to be Mare, just Mare
mm,
who creates and does things. But what is it? At the time, I didn't know yet. I didn't know yet. And so finally, I discovered Laura Rose's workshop, and that was definitely very transformational for me because she helped me understand how much I need to use my voice. All them repressed, no, I don't like that. No, don't do that. All of that. But at the same
mm,
time, also use my voice for creations like songs or even, talking here now, sharing my story, like all
mm.
those things, right? And yeah, so it's been kind of like right now, it feels like a compound effect is starting to
Mm,
really take
mm.
place. And it's super exciting and at times also scary because I'm like, why everything is moving so fast? I have two kids at home, right? Because I became mom 6 months ago now again. And yeah, it's a lot, but at the same time, I'm like, hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, like this is to me everything. Like when I met Lara, I think Mila was 6 months, or it might have even been like 3 months after she came, and I did kind of one of the short Voice of the Creatrix programs. And then I realized I wanted to work with Lara, and she's actually how this podcast got launched. I worked with her in a small cohort called Voice of the Influencer, and I made this choice. She said, you got to pick one project and we're going to see it through to the end. And it was either a musical album or the podcast. And something in me was more scared about the podcast, like taking this on and knowing that it's a bigger commitment, it's a weekly thing or a monthly thing but when I let go of all of that and just trusted that I'm going to work on this with Lara, because of who she is and how she helps you see everything's already within you, but then she's so nurturing and like gives you all the things. Like my brain and your brain are very like there's just I want to know it all, and she gave it all to me. Like she gave me
Yeah.
every way that I could do it. And so that November of 2021 was when I launched this podcast. But then I kind of went back into this whatever, this mode of doubting. But now with this relaunch and what this episode is part of, it's this reminder that it really is okay to just let life unfold and to just do what feels right in the moment. But somebody like Laura Rose really woke up in me my voice as well. Like she just created this space for me to finally find my art, my voice, my sound, where I had been studying music and like you, like logically wanting to like what's the theory of music? How do I do this? What am I doing? What are the notes? What notes go together? Like all this stuff that was blocking me. And I did find some other really great teachers that inspired me to just do it, like play the keyboards and sing at the same time and kind of, but that still was like this coordination, like just trying to learn rhythm and like, but with Laura, it was all about connecting to the sound in my body, moving through me, and the healing part of my voice came through for sure in the time with her. Like I just the realization that my sound, call it ugly, call it scary, call it beautiful, call it, whatever you want to call it, my sound is my medicine. My voice is my gift. And just letting that come through. And I also love how you said the song started coming through with your first child. Because when I was pregnant with Mila, these songs were coming through. And then when she was here and screaming and crying, like these songs would come through to kind of calm my nervous system, but also hers. Like, I don't know, it was just this. I was like questioning as I said it because I don't even really know what was happening, but I just know these sounds were coming out of me. It wasn't pre-thought, it wasn't logical, it was just emotion with sound. Um, but one thing about you that is so wonderful, and you'll always be this, I mean, you'll always be someone that I met through Laura's program, but beyond that, this past year, when you did your second round of, or I think you did your first round of your 100 days of practicing the guitar, like when I saw you doing that every day, I probably saw it like every few days the way the algorithms are, but that was last year. Um, and then this year, when you started it again and challenged me to join you, like just in a gentle little message, you're like, hey, you should do it. Just pick a set amount of time a day and just commit to it, for 100 days. And so I did that, but then I also told myself I would post about it like somewhere online every day. And that to me was like the part that kept me honest. And because there were nights where I'd be like, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'd say, oh, I didn't play the ukulele today. And so maybe those nights I didn't feel like filming myself playing, but I would at least take a picture and I would at least post a little thought about and I would do it even if it was for 15 minutes, like but some days it would be an hour of practice. I'm at a place now where I just wrote my first song on the ukulele, which was my goal, with that whole challenge. I was like, what's my goal here? Is it to learn a bunch of covers? No. Anyway, I just wanted to share that the inspiration from you just doing what you were called to do and then inviting someone to join you brought through all this music and me. So thank you for
Yeah,
that challenge.
you're welcome. And honestly, it was very interesting even for myself. Like, am I really able to commit to 100 days? But before I share more about it, when I was because yeah, we were in Hawaii and I was like, I want to be a better parent. So there is
Mm,
this, it's called All About Parenting. It's a course. And they even send you two workbooks, which are like thick books. And every day you watch a video, which is like from 5 to 8 minutes. And it breaks down how the brain develops empathy and sympathy and motivation and like all the different ways that kids can be motivated. So I was like, I want to understand it better because I want to be a better parent. And I didn't finish it all, but I did finish like the first workbook. And I remember one exercise specifically that stayed with me. And it was like, how do you want to see your kid in 30 years? They come knocking on your door, you open the door. What do you see? And I remember writing down how I would see my firstborn, right? And one of the things that I was like, discipline. But then I realized through watching the videos and being on my own self-discovery journey that, am I disciplined? Have I been able to see things through, do the things I say I would do, right?
Mm.
And up to that point, I wasn't very disciplined. I was like, I would start something, but then I wouldn't finish it. But I know now that that was tied into the limiting self-belief that what is the point even starting if it's going to end up crap, right? Because
Mm.
if you feel like you were born wrong, there's nothing really you can do about it because it's already the foundation of it. So once I started rewriting that, that's when it opened up to me that I'm capable and I'm able. So the word discipline has been important to me the last few years. And it started out with doing the 30 days of songwriting challenge that I randomly stumbled upon on Instagram. Like somehow, I can't even remember how I discovered Petra. She is, I don't want to say it wrong now. It's either Slovenia or Slovakia. So one of those countries. And I can't remember which one, but I stumbled upon her, challenge that, hey, do you want to write songs for 30 days? I was like, I've never done it, but there's been a few songs that I've done with Voice of Creatrix. Let me try. And when I completed all 30 days, I was like, wow, I wrote 30 songs. And it wasn't like, from start to finish, 3 minutes long. They were mostly like minute and a half. But the commitment itself, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I did the second round a few months later, and I was like, hey, I could start and finish things. Like, how amazing is that?
Mhm.
And so a whole year and a half later, right? I'm in Canada, and Petra is the one again that shared that, hey, 100 days of practice. You choose your own instrument if you want to do it. And I was like, oh, I can't do it right now because I was pregnant still. I had pregnancy-related anemia. I was tired most of the time. Like I barely had any energy to do anything. So I was like, Mara, think about it. 100 days of showing up with the way you're feeling right now. But then a few days went by and I don't know what it was. But I was like, I'm doing this. And I'm glad I did because I hadn't been posting on YouTube because we moved, there was a big shift. And so getting the house in order with all the stuff, because I mean, it takes time to make the house feel house again, home
Yeah.
again. And so all things put together, I was like, I need something creative and musical in my life right now. Because yes, I'm not feeling too great with this pregnancy. It's very different from my first one, but I want to create. And so I was
Mhm.
like, let me just start with this 100 days. And honestly, it was going way better than I thought. And another thing I noticed through it is that yes, discipline was the first thing, but the other thing was I'm gonna honor my own timeline in a sense
Mhm.
that how there's like, oh, become this really fast guitar player or whatever. And I mean, we have different goals, but my goal was like, it's not about, after 100 days, it's not about being the greatest guitar player. It really was like, how do I feel every day that I come and play? It wasn't
Yeah.
about me being this maestro of like guitar. It was about showing up and really taking the time to understand what's even going on with me throughout
Mhm.
this whole experience. And another thing I noticed is that if before maybe I was scared to sing a certain song because I was like, I don't know if I get the chords right or whatever, it's like I had unlocked something in between the moves and everything because all of a sudden I can play this something that 6 months ago or even a year ago, I was like really struggling with. And so through all of this 100 days and everything, I guess what I'm coming to is that first I have to honor where I'm at. Sometimes
Mhm.
we really want to push through something, right? And yes,
Yeah.
sometimes it helps, but I realize the more gentle I am with myself in many situations, the better I do in the long run. And so when I
Mhm.
finished the first round, I was like, oh my God, this was so amazing. I should totally keep going, right? But then I'm like, well, you're about to give birth. You need to think about that. My plan was I'm going to give birth. I even took, the first time I went to the hospital, I even took my guitar with me. I was like, keep going. But then I was like, hey, you need rest. So take like at least a month, okay? So I did take a month off so that, I can get used to this new rhythm and new everything because we have this brand new baby right with us. But after a month, I was like, yeah, I'm ready to finish it. So I kept
Mm.
going, and it was really, really good experience. And when I also uploaded the video that, hey, do you want to join me? That was also like expansion, because I was like, hey, I don't know if anyone's going to join, right? But even if no one's going to join, I'm still going to do it because I really felt,
Mm.
like called to do it. So when you joined the challenge, I was so happy. I was like, hey, there's one person joined, like she joined me. And that's why I was also very like proud. I was like, hey, let me share how, hey, Osha Rose, she is doing the challenge with me. And it was super awesome to watch you, like, yeah, like at first, like starting out, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but by the end of 100 days, like such a big transformation, like, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah,
And
and just the
yeah,
confidence boost of like you said, I did this. Like I stayed true to the commitment to me. Like the
yeah,
promise I made
yeah,
myself, I kept it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
it was really
beautiful.
awesome, yeah.
I love that I could just picture you walking into the hospital, huge belly, like fully pregnant with a guitar on your back, a child in your hand, your husband in your arm, just like, okay, I'm ready to birth this child and get back to my music.
Yeah, it was no, it's really so what I realized what's been going on is that the more I allow myself to be Mara, even though I am a wife and I am a mom and I'm a friend and a sister and all those other things, but the more I allow myself to be Mara, the more I grab onto this little, let's go write something. Let's go do something like right, like the little nudges that we get throughout the day. And at first maybe I don't know what exactly it is, but let me go and be curious about it. And
Mm.
so the more I do it, the more I'm like, wow, look at all these ideas that are coming through. And they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so when I was, getting really close to giving birth, I was like, I want this to stay with me. Yes, I love being a mom, but I don't want it to take over me. Because when I became mom the first time, I didn't have Mare almost like at all. It was a wife and a mom, right? And so the more I started uncovering Mare, the more I was like, wow, she's pretty cool. Like, I like her, let me keep her in my life. And so when he was born, I was like, just this fire inside of me. Like, I need to keep going. I need to keep doing. But at the same time, I was like, we also have to be smart about it and balanced about it, even though it's
Yeah.
hard. And so I was like, okay, let's just, I'll take a break and I'll get back to it.
Mm. I love that you did a training on how to be a better parent. Um, to me, that's such a beautiful, like, it just tells me that you not only are expanding in yourself and who you are, but you know what I mean? You're balanced, like you just said, in how you're approaching all of this. And I bet there's moments where, like, if your husband travels, right? Does he travel and you have like chunks of time where it's just you with the
Yeah.
two? Yeah, it's got to be like, so the balance shifts, right? During that time, probably of how much Mare fits into the children and the
Yeah.
baby and yeah.
Yeah. What's actually interesting is that I realize that whenever my husband leaves for something, there's actually more space to be just Mara because,
Mm.
I'm not being a wife right now at all, right? So that
Ah.
goes away. And yes, I am being mom way more. But through that, my 6-year-old, he's such a smart kid. Like he's also so curious about the things that I do. And honestly, most of the time I share all of it. I might like change a little bit the wording so that it fits his brain better, right? Because he is 6. But he's so curious about the things that I do. And seeing him ask me questions and this and that, he is very like just his curiosity and the way he approaches my things. And I'm like, I guess it makes me really like this is so awesome and so sweet of him to come and like look at my things in that way, right? Because
Mm.
it's this pure curiosity of like, what is it that you're doing? And from the start, I've been very, very patient with him. Now that he's older, yes, I have new things that are like coming up inside of me too. Like, wow, he talks back a lot. Wow, he this and he that, right? But doing the parenting course, like it helped me a lot in realizing that, hey, I can't expect, like when he's 3, I can't expect him to regulate himself the way we do, right?
Mm.
Like, I feel like there is such a big pressure on kids to behave in a certain way at a very young age, where it's like, they're 3. Like their brain is just simply not there. Like we can't expect that of them, right? And
Mm,
I've actually had a lot of people, especially the first 3 years of like me being a mom, I had a lot of people who were like, how are you so patient with him? Which is interesting, right? But I realize there's two things. Because one would be the way I grew up, and one of the themes for me that has been coming up is that I haven't felt seen the way that I needed to be seen, right?
mm,
And being the people pleaser throughout the years, it also has its positive sides. I'm able to hold space, especially when it's a kid. Like I'm able to just see the kid, not that, oh, they're throwing a tantrum and whatever, but he's really having a hard time right now. Like, am I really gonna get bad about it? No, I automatically have this compassion and this, okay, let's understand what's going on, right? And
mm,
the other thing is definitely doing the parenting course. It helps me understand that what you've been feeling about this situation, with your 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, you've been on the right track with it,
mm,
not to just like jump into it and like, okay, let's start fixing it. Like there was
mm,
this one phase where he went from biting, my 6-year-old, when he went from biting, he was like 1.5 years to hitting, like really hitting. And for a minute there, I was like, wow, that's getting really big. But then I realized that with everything else that I've seen, I haven't tried and fixed it. I see him grow out of things. You allow them space and time. And yes, I redirect him if necessary and all that. But the main thing is to give space and time and so much love. Because I had this moment where I was like, wow, he hits me a lot. Like, what could that be? But then I realized, one, remember the training you did? His brain, how far is it? Like, how much has it developed? And two, I am his safe person. So when
mm,
he doesn't feel good about himself or the situation or like whatever it is, right? He is going to take it out on who? Not just some random person, me, because I'm his safe space, right? And so when I kept reminding it to myself, I was like, I know he's going to grow out of it, which he has done. Like, he's
mm.
6 now, and very rarely he gets so very upset that he feels like, I need to go and like hurt my mom.
Yeah,
And now instead he either goes and plays with Legos or he'll go and like yell, which I'm also like, you know, go let it out, whatever
yeah.
needs to happen. And then later, usually what we end up doing is talking about it, and I'll help him explain what's going on. It's like, yes, it's a big emotion. It was hard for you to, you know, contain it. And
Mm,
so it's been honestly for me, being a mom, it's more than just like, let me turn you into this person and you do this and like
mm,
it's very, I guess, like spiritual for me. Like very like there's so much soul, there's so much love, there's so much space, He's gonna be his own person. And of course I want to do a great job with like discipline. Like I do want him to be disciplined because I realize how important it is. Plus he's gonna be a man, right? But
mm.
But yeah, like I try and take my time with him and the way he's growing. Sometimes I totally fail at it, but
Well, you never fail, I believe, unless you give up completely. So
yeah,
in the
that's true
moment, it
too.
feels, yeah. But I just want to reflect back some of what you said because there's just so much, there's like really profound things that I felt that you were saying, like about his curiosity and wanting to do everything with you. And then I was thinking about the only times I get really frustrated are when I'm editing my music or trying to record something and she wants to be on my lap and I'm afraid she's gonna, usually with even my phone, I'll just let it be. I'll let her play. I'm watching her, but I feel like, oh well, if she texts somebody accident, like I could just let go of some of the stressors there, but
Yeah.
I still feel the tension kick in when, like, I was just editing a song the other day and I spend so much time and energy like with the automation and just like getting everything perfect that I'm like, oh, and sometimes I have had to go and undo what she's done. So but I still, like you, want to foster her curiosity. I just keep thinking, like, I'm watching my life with her and I keep thinking, how cool is this that she's seeing this from her mom, that she gets to learn about expressing herself and technology and music. So I just love that you're fostering that. And then I was also thinking when you were talking about growing out of things, and being able to be compassionate And that connection you made about the positive side of being a people pleaser, or in other ways to look at it, it's fawning, like the nervous system is doing this thing where it tries to make everybody feel good. But then beyond that, I think it's this deep empathic, like you're able to truly feel into his
Yeah.
vibration and be
Yeah.
compassionate about that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was one of the biggest things I learned with myself. And oh, but I wanted to say about emotions and how music and like learning about music, learning about emotions, bringing them through into, my vocals, into the music I'm creating has actually helped me with my child, because there are just emotions moving through her body, right? Like the anger that comes through when they hit. And I had a really hard experience recently where she threw a rock at me, two rocks. One of them didn't hit me and one of them hit me right in the temple. And when I looked back at what built up to that moment, it was building anger. And there were things that I had done and said in haste that I didn't notice until after. But I could hear other people in my head in the moment, like when it was happening, like, you could have died. That's really not good. You need to teach her. That's bad. Like, I don't know, just all these different voices. Like, I was afraid. I was afraid. I was
Yeah.
scared. I kept thinking what could have happened. But what I realized quickly was there was a escalation of emotion that she had gone through. She had asked me to play with her, but I was playing my ukulele on the beach and I thought she was fine with her toys, but there were no other kids and she was starting to get frustrated that I wasn't done yet. It was probably 30 seconds that I was asking her to wait, but in her 4-year-old world, that was forever, mom. So then she threw sand at me. And then I was like, oh, right. When she threw the sand, I shut down because I don't like sand. It's gotten in my eyes from her before and it really hurt. So I like got kind of hyper vigilant. I was like, nope, we're not playing with the sand and we're leaving. It's time to go. And I just quickly shifted my tone. And that was when she started throwing more sand and I started getting more frustrated. And I started packing things up. And I almost like walked away from her because I was so angry. I needed a minute. And that was when she had cultivated the rocks and was following me to the car. It was just, to me, it was like scary and premeditated. And I was like, this is not good. But then I thought about it, what is she feeling? And that was when I let go of what everybody else would think. And I just looked her in the eye and I said, what's going on right now? That was very scary what you did. And that really hurt me. Are you angry? And she was like, yeah, because you wouldn't play with me. And so it was like she got to express her anger. I still felt scared and it hurt for a few days. So I just kept thinking of it. And so I read a few things and I got this idea to tell a story about the rock that doesn't like to be thrown at people. And I said a couple other things gently to her. A day later, she was freestyling. Sometimes she'll just pick up her ukulele or she'll pick up something and start playing an instrument and just start singing a song, like making up a whole song. It's so beautiful. And a lot of the time, it's her processing new words she's learned or experiences she's had in the day. And she was singing a song about throwing rocks and not gonna hurt you. And it was just this beautiful moment where I realized, yes, mom, you did the right thing by choosing compassion over, I don't know what the word is. I think it's like you want to instill respect in your child. You don't want to be afraid of your child.
Respect. I deserve respect.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I
I
feel
would.
like
Mhm.
yeah. And anyway, the bottom of the end of the story is in that moment that she was singing, I realized I trust your intuition, Mama. You did the right thing by choosing compassion, and she is learning something. She is processing, the emotion she went through. Maybe she'll do it in a different way next time. Like you said, she'll grow out of it, she'll keep learning, and that's my hope. I feel like they're so little and they're so precious. And the more we can help them work through these emotions, these big emotions that are just bigger than their bodies,
Yeah.
the better it will be, the less harm will be in.
Yeah. No, totally. I feel the same way about raising my kids because in like the way I grew up, we weren't allowed to have, big emotions.
Mm,
What are you upset about? There's nothing to be upset about. Or like, because so what I've realized through my own journey is that when I was a kid and, my sisters and all of us, our problems weren't really problems. Oh, you're a kid, it doesn't matter, right? But it does matter. In a 4-year-old's world that my mom is not playing with me right now, is the end of the world. And so when we take that, hey, if my problem matters as an adult and I need to take care of it, like what can I do about it? Then that's how I look at it. Then my 6-year-old needs the same energy from me because I'm going to teach him from early on that, okay, if you have a problem with something, what can we do about it? Like, what is the solution to it, right? And sometimes he gets so upset about something, he just starts shutting down and he'll be like, no, I can't do this and that and whatever. And I remind him that, well, but what is the solution? How do you get done that something you wanted to get done? And sometimes I also have to just wait until he's done crying and
Yeah.
done with all these big, big moments of like, oh, this is too hard. Like with homeschooling that we just started, give him a few minutes of
Mhm.
break, but then I bring him back and we're like, okay, let's do it together. And we'll see it through together. Like sometimes like I totally try and see like, okay, now I can push him a little bit more. Right now he
Mhm.
needs me. Like I try and see those things. And the more I like tune into with his like rhythm and how he is, the more I see growth. Like he will mirror to me, that respect, but I'm not talking like I don't use the word respect like at all, right?
Mm.
But he sees because when I take the time to see my son, to see that he is upset about something, and I'm like, "Hey, I've said too many no's today, haven't I?" He's like, "Yes," and he's being very honest with me, and I like honesty is super important to me. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna call, maybe cops on you or whatever. You know those little things where we try and like, make them listen to us. Like, I'm not perfect, and sometimes I might like come up with something, but I try not to use like really scary things. I might say that, hey, you don't get your game or something, you know. But altogether, I try not to use this kind of like manipulative way of like, this and that. I know we
Yeah,
all
the
do things
fear,
differently.
instilling
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I totally try and be honest that this just doesn't work right now and that's just what it is. But tuning into his rhythm and seeing that, okay, I pushed too hard this time. Like clearly you can see he's having the biggest emotion right now, right? So
Mm.
it's a feedback to me that, okay, how can I do better?
Yeah.
And I've seen him grow beautifully, right? We all have things that, we have this weird sides of us or this and that, everything there. I'm like, hey, it's all cool. Like that's just who he is. But when I think about like the development, the growth and all that, beautiful. Really, like I think he's an amazing kid and
Mm.
just the way he mirrors me back what I put into him. And
Mm.
it's the same when I start getting overwhelmed with my own projects. Because sometimes I'm like, Mara, you're 6 months postpartum. Okay. You have a little one, you just started homeschooling, and all of a sudden you also want to do these things. So yes, I do get overwhelmed, and sometimes with this last episode for my YouTube, that editing was way smoother because I'm better at it. And I was like, no more than 2 hours at a time and
Mm.
different days, right? But the first few ones, I was like, Björn, pretty much get away from me right now because I'm in this bubble and I really need to finish this. Like, I still try and be very nice about it, but at the same time, I also need him to understand that, hey, it's very
Mama's
important for
working.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, actually, what I've started doing is that I used to always say mommy this and mommy that, but now when I'm working on my own thing, I say Mara. Mara needs to do this. So that he understands that yes, she is my mommy, but she also is sometimes just Mara who needs to work on her own stuff. So that's something new and I'm trying it out, but I feel like something I want to do. And
Mm.
so yeah, like it's been very like the last few years have been very interesting in a sense of how I've been growing. And now all of a sudden I'm out of this big egg of like protection and everything. And at
Mm.
the same time, I see it with my son too, Like yesterday we were at the restaurant. He's like, excuse me, could I get more napkins? And I would like this drink. And when I saw him do that, I was like, you're 6 and you're asking for your own things, you know?
Mm.
And I'm when did I do the voice of Creatrix? When was it? It was 2000 and was it 22, the
22.
ending?
Yeah.
Like the
I
ending
think it
of
was like
22?
March 2022. Yeah.
I can't remember. It was something like that. And I was like, look at me. I'm here like pretty much almost 30 years old. And I'm like, Laura Rose, hold my hand because I need to do things, right? Because I'm scared to use my voice. I'm scared to use
Mm.
this. But here's my 6-year-old at the restaurant. Hey, excuse me, this and that. And to me, it's so beautiful to see that, hey, he's using his voice. He's not scared to use it. And that to me is so important. And of course it is, because, my story is so very different.
Mm.
Yeah. And so,
So you became a mom just at the end of your 20s.
yeah, I was 28 when he was born. And then I turned
Mm.
29 the same year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now having your second child, you're in your 30s, you're in the beginning and you found all this creativity. To me, that the creativity came through, like it was there as a child, it would trickle through in my life, but it came through with a force as soon as I became pregnant. Like I started doing all these things online, like storytelling and singing was coming through in my stories, and then songs were coming through walking pregnant with her once I moved back east. I was living in California when the pandemic started and then got pregnant and then moved back east. So it was like this adventure already when she had come in through, but I just she was born on my 39th birthday. So I had all this time in my 20s and 30s without being a mom. Um, I guess my point of this story is I look back and I think I could have done so much with that time I had before I became a mom, but I just don't know if like timing, but then also this ability to like the desire, the motive, like everything's different now. It's like I want to be all of me so my child sees and understands that
Go
she can do
ahead.
that. She can
Go
do
ahead.
that too.
Go ahead.
But one thing you had also said before about respect, I think it's beautiful. I think that compassion you have for your children and your ability to really feel into them and how big their moments are, like the fact that you could understand that my daughter her mother not playing with her on the beach was everything. That was a big deal for her. I don't know if every parent can see it that way because of their own experiences, like you were saying you had, but sometimes, like with you, I think it does shape us to want something different, for our children. Somehow, some way along the way, you were able to get to a place where you could see that that wasn't how you don't want to carry that on. You don't want to keep doing that. I think sometimes that happens. I know that happened with my family. It's like this is better than it was for them, but it still isn't quite where I want to be with my children or my child. But something else you had said reminded me to just share that when the rock first hit my head, I didn't handle it as compassionately or as well as I had hoped. My fear kicked in, my nervous system kicked on, and all I could think was, I'm a single mom. If she just killed me or hurt me so badly, like how would I take care of her and how would I get her to the hospital? Like how would I get to the hospital? Like I felt alone and just so scared in that moment. So the first thing I said to her wasn't what I really wanted to say to her, but it was out of fear. And I put her in her car seat and I said, "You just hit me in the head, and that could break my bones or cause harm to my body. And what would you do if you didn't have your mom?" Like I said the thing that was like fear, and she started crying. And it just like wrecked me. I was like, "Osha, what are you doing? Like, this isn't how her brain is going to understand. All she knows is you're scared, and now she's scared." And so I like had her in the car seat so I could like shut the door and just like take a minute. Cause it's like when they're in the car seat, it's like safe space for me to just be able to like, even if she's screaming, I know she's okay. But I just wanted to make sure I made it clear that it was not easy to shift in that moment because your nervous system, you're under attack.
Of course.
Like your
Of course.
body is like, wait, am I
Yeah.
okay? And I didn't do anything back to her. Like I think kids might like throw rocks back at each other or something like immediately. So I at least had that going for me where I was like able to stay present in that moment where I was like, I'm not under attack. But the fear of being unable to care for her if harm came to me is something I realized I wanted to do a little work on like later that night. And I think that was why I was able to kind of step out of, because I reacted the way I did and saw her reaction, felt my reaction to her reaction. I think that's when I came back down from that elevated state of fight or flight. And I realized, how can I communicate this to her without scaring her so that she hears it? And I think the biggest thing is respect, like respecting where she's at, what words are actually going to really compute to her. Like the things you're saying right now are just reminding me, like, yeah, these are the steps that like help us be the better parent. Is like, this is where I'm at, this is where she's at. I respect the difference. I'm going to teach her and model for her how we can talk about things to understand how the other one's feeling. But it's amazing with her. It's like when I do take the time to ask her a question about what she's feeling, like, oh, you just threw that across the room and that's something you really love. You must be angry right now. Are you upset? Yeah, because blah blah blah. And it's like you know that they have, you're doing the thing that's going to help them move through this, big moment and big emotion. And, in that moment, I was like, oh, it must be nice when people have a partner that's there for them. Because I could have like gone home and like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like shared the story, had someone be like,
Yeah.
it's okay. You did exactly what I would have done or better. Like, don't beat
Yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you need some ice? Oh, but I did that too. I had her help me ice my wound. And I said, Mama got hurt. And she loves being a doctor. And so that helped, like teaching her how to care for me. And yeah, but anyway, I'm going back and forth between like feeling bad for myself, but then realizing like it's all good. Like I'm
But it's
teaching her. Yeah.
like having a kid, it opens up this whole new world, right?
Yeah.
Because if you notice that, hey, I want to do better, you're going to have moments where you're like, wow, I way overreacted, right? But the
Mm,
fact that you notice it and then you're like, how can I better it? That to
mm,
me already is like honestly amazing. Because I mean, are you going to have more moments like this? Of course you are. Am I going to have more moments where I'm like, not today or whatever? Or I say something that, I can't right now, like just get away from me.
mm.
And I know I'm going to have those moments, but what really matters is that what do we do after that? Do we just leave it and, hey, I was in the right and I'm not going to do anything about it? That's where I believe it would go
Mm,
south in that sense. But when we take the time to go back and be like, okay, let's talk about what happened, or, and bring it down to their level where, like, make a song about a rock or however else, something, something creative, something that a kid would understand. That to me is like everything. Because, like, if you think about your own journey of like being a kid and all those things that you maybe got upset about here and there and how it was handled, like, I feel like when we tune into our kids, and even though there might be something where we didn't behave the way we wanted to, or we didn't react in a way that we wanted to as a parent, but when we tune into them, we know how to get back to this, that middle where he feels good and I feel good. And that I
mm,
think matters the most because at the end of the day, I'm a human, right? I'm gonna have so many more moments where my nervous system is gonna kick off and be like, this is freaking danger, even though it's my own kid. And so, what do we do after? If I can't handle it in a moment, what can I do after? So, to
mm.
me, that's already like amazing that you even, how can I fix it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's also something that I notice with myself that sometimes I do get overwhelmed and I'm going to have moments like this. And so another thing that I'm also learning are boundaries because now he's bigger. And I'm like, we need to start separating because you're Björn and I'm Mara. And yes, I'm also mommy, but sometimes we do different things. And that's,
Mm, mm.
a part of it, life also, right? Because one day he's going to leave. Even though right now he's like, no, mommy, I'm staying with you forever. But like even that, and it can be uncomfortable, right? Because it's almost like severing this cord. But of
Mm,
course, I try and be like, I guess more soft about it. But at the same time, I'm like, well, sometimes soft doesn't work. It's all
mm,
about this certain, person you have. Like, who is your kid? Like, what do they like? What they don't like? So it's gonna be different for everyone, right?
yeah.
But yeah, learning to be like, hey, this is the limit, and this is the boundary, and you can't go over it. If you do, there's going to be consequences. And that to me is new too. But the consequences are not like extreme consequences. There are consequences of like, as they get bigger, the consequence will be bigger because there's more responsibility on you. But
Mm.
at 6-year-old, it's still not, I say it's not big, but for him, in his world, it's like, whoa, I don't get to play my sports game. It's like an evolution game where you start with being this one cell and then you turn into creature, herbivore or something, right? To him, it's a big thing. But yeah, doing the nervous system work is definitely one of the foundations, I would say, when it comes to motherhood and even creativity. Like, I would not have my creativity. I would not have my YouTube channel right now. I wouldn't have any of it, sharing my trauma, sharing what happened to me, right? If I hadn't done the work that was like, through Laura Rose's workshop or some other things that I've done. And now I realize that throughout the day, when I start feeling overwhelmed, I totally try and like, embody it. I try and actually live the way that I'm like sharing it right now. I try and take little micro moments. I don't have like a whole hour to dedicate right now. Let me just, we'll be doing homeschool. I'll put some music on, nothing super crazy or loud because he's doing his studies right there. And the little guy, the baby, he's on the floor, like crawling and doing his things. And I'll just go take one of the bowls and, help my like fascia with it, like body, or I'll do some breathing exercise. But even if it's like 2 minutes, I'm like, it's better to do 2 minutes throughout the day a few times than like this one big session. That's like something I also learned through the guitar, 100 Days of Guitar, is that consistency, but
Mhm.
like micro, is way more powerful than showing up this one time and being like, oh, I got it all. Like that,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah, nervous system is, the way to go if you want to start healing and if you want to start bringing more creativity or being a better mom, being the mom that maybe you wanted to have, right?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, nervous system definitely needs to brought
Mm.
back to safety and be like, okay, I actually feel safe. I don't have to like, I don't have to scan everything and everywhere wherever I go because that's what I
Yeah.
used to do. Yeah.
And it serves me too, like it in that moment after the rock, like it served me. I took that moment, I stepped out and I said, do I need to be activated right now? Is this, and I could sense, no, I'm in safety.
Yeah.
She's in her car seat. Everything's okay. Yeah. So what I want to do is get you back so we can talk more about what we're saying right now with the nervous system, because there's so much here. And it's really the essence of the first season of our podcast, Super Bloom, where if there's breathing exercises that you are looking for, some guided meditations, also just this understanding of what we're saying, like what's going on in the body, what this nervous system is. I share a little bit about brain waves too, like how you can kind of notice through the amount of activity in your head, whether you're in like a high active state or
Yeah.
whether you're in a relaxed state. And breathing can help you get there. Music can help you get there if you want to, calm down the activity and the waves. But yeah, I definitely want to talk more about that. I love everything you've shared about parenting and weaving in your creativity and finding, time to take care of yourself, your children, packing and unpacking homes and just, all of the ways that you've shared with us today. I think it's really inspiring, especially to moms that are wondering how they can find more time to be creative in a way that feels really good. I mean, problem solving to me is creativity. Like when you're, how can I get a solution to this? Or picking out dinner. Like there's just creativity to me. There's more of it in our days than we realize. But I think when I say creativity, it's like picking up a guitar.
Yeah, it's like super like drawing and like getting
Yeah,
messy and all that,
artistic.
right?
Yeah. I want to talk more about the background of how you are creating this YouTube channel of your mini series, and you were saying how it got easier the second time with the editing. But to me, it's still mystifying what you're doing, like the crumpling and uncrumpling of paper and putting like things behind you. And just your timing is so beautiful and the way you change your coloring. And like, so for me, because I'm learning all of this and teaching myself this stuff too. And so I love to see what you're doing because it's inspiring and so creative.
Thank you.
But yeah, I don't know, like what comes next. Like these are my thoughts as we close out this episode. What's next for Mara? Like what's on your mind first?
Honestly, what's interesting is that you know how you mentioned earlier, like why couldn't I have done something in my 20s or 30s, right? Like where was this stuff? But I truly believe that we need to honor our timelines. The things are going to
Mm,
come through when they're going to come through. Because I was thinking the same. Hey, I moved from Estonia when I was like 23 or something. And I didn't have my first kid until I was almost 29, right? I was like, why didn't I do all this soul work and everything right then? I wasn't ready. Like I
mm,
had to do the things that I did, even though sometimes at first I was looking back to it and I was like, did I waste it? But I was like, you didn't waste
mm.
it. Like you were just trying to come back to safety and that took you time. Like that's how much unraveling I had to do. And now when I'm thinking about where am I going, it's it's very
Mm,
exciting because as I said, everything happens and it's, when the time is right. And I guess right now is the time for me, even though I just started homeschooling and I have a 6-month-old baby. And I'm like, oh, how about I do this and I do that? So the other day, I did a Zoom call with two of my sisters. I was like, would you like to be my like someone that I can practice on pretty much. And I did a workshop about womb and how we're connected to the cycles of life itself, right? The
mm,
rhythm of Mother Earth. And when I finished it, I was on fire in the best sense of it. I
mm,
was like, this is one of the things where I want to expand into, right?
mm,
And it was so eye-opening to me that my voice is my gift, right? I have to
mm,
use it more. And so, yes, I'm expanding my YouTube channel. I'm gonna do there's a 10 or 11 miniseries because there's a lot of work that I've done over the years to help myself get over the fear of being seen, like a lot. And I really want to share that. And then there's, the cover songs that I do. That's just my playful side of me that, hey, I would like to cover this song. And I just started vlogging because there's also another part of my life itself where I can share the bigger moments or shifts in my life that happen within a month because the plan is to post once a month, how the month of October was.
mm,
And I'm also working on my website/blog because
mm,
my YouTube channel is Mare's Music Diary and Her Life in Motion. And then my website is going to be Her Life in Story. So pretty much
mm,
if YouTube is
mm,
all visuals and motion and you can all see all of it, then blog is going to be through the words and, stories and articles. And I'm very excited about that too, because I used to write a lot. The
mm.
difference now is that I go from writing in Estonian to writing in English. So
Ah,
there's this shift, but since I'm already thinking in English over the 11 years that I, lived abroad, then I'm like,
mm,
hey, I'm quite English speaking person by now, so that shouldn't be a problem. And so, yeah, and there's of course lots more ideas and things that I'm doing in the background, but I'm just not ready to share those yet. But to think about where I was, simply surviving, right? Always
mm,
scanning for danger, always scanning, oh God, something's about to happen. I have to protect myself, to
mm,
picking up guitar, making songs, sharing, my story on YouTube, putting myself out there. To me,
mhm,
it's absolutely amazing. And I'm like so proud of the work that I've done. And I
yeah,
truly wish, I think my mission in life has really become to inspire people.
mm,
And I think mostly women and moms who feel
mhm,
like they're stuck in this something, right? There's this block of or fear or whatever it is. And to
yeah,
inspire them and show them that there is a way back home to yourself. And that's where really the magic happens. Like we're all magic, like all of us. But there's just so many layers of all of it that am I able to see through it, right?
mm,
So
mm.
yes, it was. It truly is inspiring, even for myself, to go through all of it and put it into this, it's coming together as a package in a sense. It's coming together for me. And I'm just so happy to be alive again and not just survive and be like, well, this is just what it is, right?
Mm.
And I'm grateful for all the teachers I've had, all the, other inspirational people that I've met or I've listened to. Like if it wasn't for Louis hey, after my surgery, I wouldn't be here. I'd be probably still
Mm.
surviving somewhere. So
Mm. Yeah, I feel that way. Like people you've mentioned have helped me too, but Abraham Hicks was somebody else who brought me to this other spiritual level of like, oh, right. There's a source that we're tapping into when we connect with this creative flow, when we like this healing. It's like getting back to this like source energy. And when I was pregnant and it was COVID and it was with somebody that I had just met, there was just all this fear and anxiety that listening to, there's certain people that just help you in these really hard
yeah,
times. So yeah, I'm grateful too, but I think it's kind of wonderful that our paths, like Joe Dispenza was really important for me too, like in my journey of just connecting with the mind and reprogramming it. So the
yeah,
things that I want to talk about with you for next time are like, what's currently, coming through for you creatively, how the nervous system ties in with your days of managing it all. Because I think we could all learn from you as far as like those 2-minute pockets. And, that was just such a great little test example of how we can fit it in. And then, yeah, reprogramming the mind and just the ways
yeah.
that you've been able to help with that. So we'll definitely do another interview with you. And I'm just
Awesome.
so
Yeah.
grateful, yes, to
Yeah,
have you.
there's of course there's just so much because I mean, it's been 10 years of doing things, really like, going into my closet right here and like bawling my eyes out and then like, okay, now that you've done the crying and you've done all that, I've heard you now. What are we gonna do about it? And that's something
Mhm.
new that I started when I was pregnant. And another really key thing I realized over this whole journey is like, yes, I take the tools that other give me, but over time, my intuition has kicked in so much. Like when I did the Voice of Creatrix the second time, each session, the Zoom session with it, I would start by what they're saying, follow it, and next thing you know, I'm doing my own thing. And to
Mhm.
me, that is like, wow. Like the source that I have inside of me, I
Mhm.
can, like, it will turn on like itself almost when the conditions are right. And to me,
Yeah.
that's been so beautiful where I'm like I said, I go to my closet. I'm like, this is something I have to do for myself. Like, yeah, there's other tools that have been given to me and they worked until, my own blueprint, I guess, comes and takes it over and like, thanks for starting it, but I got it from here. Like I got myself from here. And that to me is something I didn't expect at all. I was like, wow, look
Mhm.
at this. Like there's some intelligence just taking me over and doing it for me. And that to
Yeah.
me is like absolutely mind blowing. That's why I'm like, there's so much more to share and so much
Mhm.
more to like the things that I've uncovered throughout this journey. It's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And I mean, sometimes it's a little woo woo, and sometimes I'm not ready to share all the details about it yet, but I definitely had what is it called? Like spiritual. I don't know if breakdown. I don't know if it's like that would be the right word to what I experienced, but I definitely had this moment of like, wow, I've been definitely giving away my power for this to this someone. And then
Mhm.
comes to find out it was my trauma of my father not being there for me because I was like, this someone's gonna come and save me, right?
Mhm.
And I remember as a kid, I would imagine, when there was like something hard going on, I would imagine how, as a kid, it would be an actor, like either Chuck Norris or Jackie Chan or someone who's like martial arts, they're strong and they can protect you. And in my
Yeah.
head, they would come and save me from so many things. And I know that it was my nervous system doing what it needs to do so that I feel somewhat that this situation was like, remedied, right? And
Mhm.
so when I was in Hawaii. So like 3 years ago, I came to that realization where I was like, what am I doing? I've
Mhm.
been waiting for someone to come and save me. And
Mhm.
when that hit me, Like when I did the exercise and I realized that it's like a curtain full of like lies and distortion just fell down. And guess what I started doing next? I went to take voice lessons and then I started posting my music because I was like, I'm my own savior. I'm gonna
Yes.
come and save me, right? But it's recent. It's only a few years ago, right? So yeah,
It's only
there's
the
been
beginning.
yes, yes. It's only the beginning. That's why I'm like I'm doing like courses in the background where I'm like I'm done playing small. I'm done making myself smaller because sometimes that was another thing of people pleasing. I have to make myself smaller so others don't get uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I'm done with all of that. Like, I'm ready to really shine. The last YouTube episode that I did, and I have this thumbnail where if you look in the video, you can see that you can see the drum a little bit. And the way
Yeah.
I said it, it was like it's a moon, because I realized that me flowing with the moon, like cycles of it, is very important. Us as women, we bleed with it. And when I did the thumbnail for it, I was like, I'm gonna put a sticker of moon on top of it. And maybe to have slight witchy feeling, or maybe to have slight this mysticism, because I realize that's what I want. That's what I crave. I want my life to be like fairy tale, full of like blooming flowers and lullabies and butterflies, but also there's dragons that you need to slay sometimes, and there's my own working with my nervous system because it's in fight and flight, but using very different words to bring my world together. And when I'm really starting to let it shine and come out, I'm like, oh my God. I was excited that, hey, I finished and edited this 6-minute video, right? It took about 7 or 8 hours. But I liked my thumbnail way more, even though, when you look at it from the perspective of strategy, like how's it gonna work and perform on YouTube, it might not be the best options because you don't really see it when it's like tiny thumbnail. I didn't care about that. I was like, I was so excited about that I put the moon on that drum. I put them cats in the corners. I put some shine and sparkles on it because I was like, this is me. This is what I want to share and inspire. And that to me was like, there you go. Next level unlocked. Let's keep going. What's next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been amazing. It truly has been. And I would love to share more because I truly hope to inspire and remind people that you are so much magic. Like it's just inside of you. It truly is.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this. I'm so excited to share this. Mare, thank you so much for such a beautiful and open conversation today. I'm just so grateful that you are the courageous woman that you are, and that we are here today because of it. And your courage to be seen and share your voice is such an inspiration. So just know that you are inspiring. I look at my ukulele every day thinking, I didn't pick it up today. I better do it tomorrow, thanks to that challenge. And then for those of you listening, I hope this reminds you that healing and creativity aren't separate. They grow together. And every time that you express yourself honestly, you bring a little more light into the world. So you can connect with Mare on YouTube at Mare's Music Diary and Her Life in Motion. More coming soon from her. And thank you all for being with us here on Super Bloom. May you keep creating, keep feeling, and keep blooming into who you really are. Yeah. Woohoo. Good
Thank you.
job.
Thank
Oh,
you.
so
Thank you.
good.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Super Bloom podcast. For more information on how to open up your mind and expand your heart and ways to work with Osha Rose, visit osharose.com. There is music videos, community connection, fun ways to learn about the body, the mind, and how they connect. Visit osharose.com.